And then obviously we've talked about it, but most importantly, social media. Like, you got to follow these teams on Instagram, follow coaches on Instagram. That's going to be the best way that you get an idea of exactly what you were talking about earlier. But like, does this line up with, what I want? Like, is this the kind of journey that I want to go on? A lot of teams are really, really active on social media, and you can see literally their training unfold week after week. And then you can go on Row 2K on Monday and Tuesday morning and you can look at results. You can go on Wednesday, you can look at the week's poll. Okay, I'm interested in University of Washington, and last week they were ranked second in the country. Oh, this week they fell to third. I wonder why. Race results. I think if you're someone who studies all of that, you can really paint yourself a picture before you even speak to a coach, and then add to it, you start having conversations with the coaching staff. Maybe you take a visit, you get to know the team. Now you should know, pretty well what you're getting yourself into, if that staff and program has done a good job of painting you the picture that they want to paint of their program. But like I said, a lot of us are painting pictures right on social media without ever having a conversation with anybody. So it's the easiest way to know,
The social media piece is huge. Like, I'll never forget it. Like, and this was years ago, but someone was like, athletes are picking their schools based off social media today. Right. Like, and whether there's merit to that or not, or this or that, like, it definitely plays a factor. And if you have a social media, like, you want to think about it like a brand, right? And athletes have the opportunity to learn the most about your program without actually being there with boots on the ground. Athletes have the opportunity to learn the most about your program through Instagram. That's where they can get an idea of what's the training looking like? How did they do at the race this past weekend? What's that the coaching interviews might be posted on there where you can get an idea of, okay, how does the coach convey their vision and their messaging to the rest of the team? Or so again, I think social media is a massive thing, and we're about to go down another area with this because I think this is a fun one too. But like, for any athlete out there, like, follow a team's social media and look at the stories, look at the posts, and get an idea of what they are messaging to the world. Because in my opinion, social media is not for your current athletes. It's for your alumni, for the parents, for the school itself to kind of show their brand, for your potential recruits who are interested in learning about the school, right? So I think that's a big thing for athletes to look at. It's like, the number one opportunity you have to get an idea of the inner working or the personality of a program is through their Instagram account, clicking on the stories. And I think that's another thing for coaches where it's like, how are you presenting your brand? Because you are a brand, right? And I think there are a lot of schools out there where just through their logo and like who they are as a school, a lot of that heavy lifting is done for them. So it might not be as much of a priority, but even for them, they're trying to filter through the elite of the elite and the other, right? Like, so there is a brand presence that's incredibly valuable, but especially for the programs out there who are a little bit smaller or a little bit less known, or in parts of the country that aren't as heavily visible or accessible, the power of social media is massive from a coaching standpoint. And like you said, and we've had this conversation before or a million times, but are your coaches on social media presenting? Which wasn't really a thing, at least in my, like a couple of years ago, like I didn't see that as often. And I want to have a whole podcast episode just on social media at some point down the line. But it's like, I didn't see that as often. And I didn't have one when I was a coach. I had a personal social media, but I didn't have, right now I have obviously mine, which is the biggest thing in my business. But like, from a coaching standpoint, do your assistant coaches have a social media presence? Are they post? And that's the beauty of rowing. We've talked about this before. every single day in rowing is a social media opportunity. What other sport in the world do you get to wake up to beautiful sunrises and bodies of water and people being active on it than rowing every morning? Every morning. Like
Yep.
if I understood that 3 or 4 years ago when I was a coach and actually learning about social media, it's like every opportunity I have an opportunity to post a picture and provide some messaging about what's going on that day and provide an update.
Yep.
Right. And so again, this is another one of those things, but where does social media, I know this has been an active piece for you, but like, does it feel like for you, I know you've been beginning to post more about your team and what you guys got going on and helpful tips and stuff like that. Has that been an active piece of like, are you starting to see like the value in that? Are recruits funneling towards you in any way? Like whatever it may be, like,
Yeah.
are you starting to reap those rewards and actually see like, oh, this is actually valuable?
Yeah. I've seen a huge increase in recruits following me, as well as people reaching out to us from like seeing us on social media. Because there's the whole other element now of the algorithm of like, you don't necessarily have to follow me or follow EMU rowing, but if you're searching for rowing related content, depending on my own personal following, how I'm tagging my videos, my video might come across your feed. Um, and now you're getting, and plus, like, my athletes share, right? So, like, my athletes are sharing, their parents are sharing, our staff is sharing, and now you're reaching like this wide net of people. So, like, my athletes have friends that are still in high school who are able to be recruited. I've definitely seen an increase in just contact from that. Um, and I think, to go kind of along the path that you were talking about with like um the picture that you're painting and what recruits are seeing on social media, I think if you really pay attention, it's actually very interesting to go through different teams social media Instagram accounts, because you truly do, like, if you're really paying attention, you see what that program cares most about. I keep going back to Texas, but Texas is a great example of a program that's branded their social media really, really well. And that's something like we know Dave at Texas is really particular about. But if you go through their Instagram account, everything is about the training. Everything's about the training and the team. Like, you very rarely see, and this is not to discount these things for teams that do this and post this stuff, but you rarely see like the team dinner that's getting posted or like the team activity fun day. It's always like running the stadium, putting in the meters on the water. So like that's what you're getting when you go to Texas. You're getting like the business of doing work. Now contrast that with, there are some programs out there that you see a lot more of like the fun stuff, the social stuff, the team, did this fun activity today. And that's all good too. But keep that in mind if you're looking for a serious program. Now this program might be telling the story of, well, we do a lot of fun stuff. We choose to showcase that and not our rowing and our work. And again, like, there's no right and wrong. It's all about like what you want to show about your program, what you think your strong suit is. So like that's something that I love about Texas's Instagram is like that's what you're getting there. It's work, it's training.